Hello everyone and welcome to Daily Game Review number 98. Today we have Loweyou 3Q versus yhs1215 2Q. So let's go ahead and look at the game. Alright, so white played a high approach, white played the 3-4 that gave black an approach. I've mentioned this a few times, but normally you don't play this one next to a black stone, or when the black stone's on this side, because your opponent wants to approach from this direction. However, since there's a black stone in this corner, black can now approach with support. So it kind of feels like you're giving black a very easy move, and we don't want our opponent to have easy moves when we play. That's why I don't recommend 4. Alright, so white chooses the pincer immediately. There is a big, this is a big side, so I can't say too much about the pincer. Maybe white has a plan, so let's see what happens. Alright, this is not Joseki. The Joseki is actually this move, or this move. This move will allow our opponent to actually Hane and perhaps push us down. Or black can just Nobi, and then white's forced to push black from behind. Then we can get a Hane headed 2. Or we can even get a simple tiger's mouth. Well, actually, this one doesn't look good. I think normally a Hane or no is fine. But white's supposed to go out a little bit. You don't want to push your opponent from behind unless you absolutely have to, right? So this is the move that would be better here. And yeah, black will get the pincer, but that's part of the fight. Keep and or something. And then fight it out. However, white chose to do this one, so let's see how the game goes. Black chooses line, goes down, black connects. Oh, sorry, that was my move. Black plays the tiger's mouth. I'm not too sure about this tiger's mouth since this stone's weak, right? So h3 is weak, so it's going to want to run, potentially it wants to run eventually, right? But this peep is actually going to give it something, a little bit of support. So if you looked at something like this, there's a little bit of support. So with that thinking in mind, perhaps a tiger's mouth in this direction or just connecting would be better. It doesn't, white doesn't really need to peep, or maybe white does want to peep immediately, or maybe the attack won't happen. But the thinking is, if a fight in the bottom side does happen, this peep will help the h3 stone. So I don't think we'll actually give white that peep. All right, so white played here. Black played really, really slow. Black, you're already out. You're not going to get attacked very easily. If you're worried, then just go ahead and block this side. And I think that's better to defend this area. Or just approach over here or over here. You also have this type of stuff for helping yourself. I don't think your group's all that weak. I don't think it's comfortable, but I don't think it's so weak that you have to play something super, super solid like this. I think this is a little bit of a slow. Rather, I was expecting something along these lines, or maybe even approach here to help your group or something, or go down like this. Actually, I think this one's my favorite. Out of all the options I just saw, I think this one's my favorite because it kind of forces white to live in the corner. You get shape now, and now you can go approach here. And then later you can come back and do this. Or even better, play this. Or maybe play the Chinese and threaten to do that. White might have to play again. Something along those lines. I think that would be better. So when you're thinking, you want to give yourself multiple options, right? You want to say, okay, these are the options on the board, but maybe I don't like my group. So what's a good way to defend my group efficiently? Because it needs to be efficient, right? If it's inefficient, then like this one, it's kind of like passing. It feels like black's just passing. He's super solid, but it's also super slow. So white's going to get a little bit of a lead on points. And we don't want that to happen. Rather, we want to look at ways to defend ourselves, maybe by putting pressure on our opponent, and that would be a little bit faster. And like I said, this one was my favorite. And white can live in the corner, and then you can just extend, and that way you're getting some base and getting some points while making base and while driving. All right, so this one's a little bit cramped, a little bit slow. White tanukis and plays a big move. I kind of want to play on this side, just for the fact that this is the biggest side, and black's gonna have a big combination over here, but this isn't bad. Maybe white says, I don't care if black gets combination, I'm going to make my own. I was expecting this. So maybe this is okay. I won't say anything about it. This one's okay. Normally with this shape, you want to play high. That way, if your opponent comes in and extends or something, then you got a fourth line extending to a third line. So this is the common shape, and then white could jump up later and change and then jump up. This would be kind of a shape here, or this is also possible. Normally it's with K17 though. If there's a K17 or something up here, this would be possible. So this is also possible. Black might come in, and you can fight. Those are the shapes that you normally see here. This one, I don't recommend people ever play. Why do I say this? It's because this is one of the most commonly made mistakes at the Q level. This Joseki is bad a lot more times than it is good. And it's very rare that this move's ever good. It's so rare, in fact, that you can almost always play something different and it be better than this move. And I would say, let's say 80% of the time this move's bad. Then you can actually get away with not playing it at all. Therefore, rather than playing this move at all, I would say never play this move until you absolutely know for certain that it's good. I think I can play every single game at my level, and I will never play this move because I don't feel the need to. I think there's better moves. For example, here I know this move, I know this move, and I might also even consider a pincer. Maybe not on this board. But this one is almost never good because black's going to get settled very easily. You're still going to have invasion points. And black might even take your corner sometimes and still have invasion points. And let's show a very rough example. If we play this way and you want to block this direction, because this direction is the wrong direction, right? But this is the actual Joseki. But some players want to play here and then play this. Well, okay, now let's play Joseki. But look at E14. E14 is very inefficient. It's an empty triangle, has bad liberties, and it's in an ugly spot. Therefore, it's not a good move. So we'd have to play something like this. Have the ladder. Does he? But then white might even, or black might even get a ladder breaker. So for example, even if white does have ladder, what if I get a ladder breaker and attack this group? So it's probably not good in that case. Therefore, normally this is the direction you want to block. But now black's going to get to play on the top side. But you wanted to block the top side, right? That's what you want to do. The top side's the place to be. So it's also wrong direction. Therefore, just on this specific board, you can see that there's 3 reasons why this move is wrong that I can come up with right there. There's also potential other reasons why it's not good. So I would say this move, it's a mistake the majority of the time that it's played at the amateur level. Therefore, I would say just don't play this move because it's very easy to mess it up, but at the same time, it's not like it's something that you're required to play. There's always going to be other options to play. So I don't think this move's necessary for you to play. There's if you really want the Moyo, you could go something like this or a diagonal. But this move, I don't think is ever necessary to play. So I would just say, until further notice, don't play this move. Just for the fact that you're probably going to mess it up more times than you're going to have it played correctly. All right, so black played this way. White plays the corner. Okay, there is still some cuts. Black plays this one. Tiger's Mouth is the vital point. This is really strange. White's aiming at the cut, but just play the Tiger's Mouth and be fine. I mean, you have all these moves. You could also just play here and threaten the clamp. And if black plays, then you get Sente. But this one's a little bit strange. It does threaten the cut, so black, I probably want to do something about the cut. So probably I would go here and try to put a little bit of pressure on these stones. The most you'll lose here is this. White will get this peep. That's the most white will get. But later, this move becomes more powerful because you have a surrounding move. So I would say go ahead and fix. There's no reason to leave that cut. And it's also good for you to fix. Now it looks like black's in a little bit of trouble, but is white alive? That is the question. White should be alive, but this is going to be Sente. Black plays here, corner first. Make the corner alive, shape first, because white tries something like this. Sorry. That's a liberty to Tsuji. But if white tries something like this, locally, white's still not alive. So if white tries to kill you with some variation, well, probably white's... Oops, sorry. I think I just messed up. There's this move to take the eye. I'm trying to think of the best way to take liberties. But anyway, probably white's going to be in a lot of trouble. Okay. Looks like a Seki. I don't think black could possibly die, but it's hard to say if white will die. You could also play Tiger's Mouth and try and threaten a Ko. Normally I would expect white to at least fix live. So I would want to threaten the corner first. What about going here directly? Acting. White plays this way. How is the lip? Hmm. No, that wouldn't be good. Probably going to be a... No, that one might die. Anyway, you can see that there's a lot of issues for white, right? So I would probably ask first. At least consider it. Even if you think it doesn't work, at least you should consider it, right? This feels really strange because white's going to get to live in Sente while taking your eyes. However, white didn't do that, so white, I recommend doing that. Ooh, and there goes a big fight. Very big mistake on white's part. White's trying to be clever, but this is just going to create two weak groups, and black's going to have the advantage. Okay, so let's go ahead and call it here, and let's think, what can we learn from this game? White, I think you need to work on your Joseki knowledge, because this corner, you messed up the Joseki. This corner, you played a Joseki that's considered not good, and finally, this, you're trying to be clever, but there's no reason to. You're just going to get weak. So it looks like white, you try to be too fast and try to be too clever. Learn the Josekis and learn what's expected to be played, because eventually you're going to face opponents where cleverness just doesn't work. That is because there's good moves for a reason. The good moves are good moves for a reason. Josekis are Josekis for a reason. And that is because they're good variations and good moves to play. But trying to be clever will just give you more and more chances to mess up. Master the basics first, and then you can worry about being clever in very small scenarios to gain 1 or 2 points. There's no one move take a big lead. Go isn't so simple like that. Though your opponent might mess up and you might take a big lead sometimes, that's not what you should be aiming for. You shouldn't be playing these confusing moves expecting your opponent to mess up. Because not only will your opponent not mess up all the time, but sometimes your opponent will be strong enough to punish your little overextensions like this move and be too strong. So master the basics first. If your opponent messes up, great, you get a lead. But you shouldn't be relying on it. You should have your own positions, your own plans, and your own ideas. But this clever stuff is only used to get like a 1 or 2 point lead. It's not meant to take control of an entire position. This one's way too much. It's overextending. You're going to give yourself multiple weak groups. So ideas like this is definitely flawed. So work on your opening Josekis and try not to overextend yourself. Just master your own game first, and don't worry about winning or losing. Master your own basics first and get your own positions. Then you can worry about dealing with your opponents while also making yours. And that way you can be efficient while also dealing with your opponents and try to get a slight lead. You only need a slight lead. You don't need a major lead. You just need a slight lead. Black, I think you played well, but I think you underestimated your own weaknesses. And you also need to work on attack and defense, because I don't think you even considered this move. Just for the fact that it doesn't look like black went this direction at all. Normally, you would at least consider this move or really, really think about it. And let's look at the time. You spent 2 seconds on this move, so I don't think you considered the Hane here at all, because 2 seconds was not. I think you played this game way too quickly, and you need to really think about the basics. So check your weaknesses first, and make sure you're reading before you play. Here, you should read out this entire scenario. Your 3Q, I'm pretty sure you can do it. You should be able to read out this entire scenario from this position and be like, how do I live? How do I live? And then when you get to Dawn, you should actually be able to read from here. You should read out that entire position and how do you live? And that is because you need to say, is this cut Sente or not? Well, if you die inside, then it's not. Then it was definitely Sente. And if white gets a lot of profit, then it's definitely Sente. But perhaps if you said, if we play this way and white connects and I kill white, then this descending is good. But I don't think you read all that. I think you aren't considering that. So make sure you check your own weaknesses first and read things through. Take the time to read things through. I think that's the biggest thing you need to work on. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.